Revenge of the Sith made it apparent that becoming a Force ghost was not something that happened for all Jedi naturally, but was a skill one had to master. Qui-Gon, Yoda, and Obi-Wan all underwent at least part of that training, which is why they could all be seen or at least heard after death. But that raises the question, why was Anakin seen as a Force ghost in Return of the Jedi? Did he undergo that training off-screen, or is there something more going on here? Even in Star Wars Legends, the answer is unclear. The best explanation we have is that Darth Vader learned about the ability through Darth Sidious, and when he died, the spirits of Obi-Wan and Yoda completed his training and granted him the last step to becoming a spirit. But Legends has all sorts of different, often contradicting rules for Force Ghosts that were created before the special training was ever revealed in the films or the Clone Wars. I think Lucasfilm has a more simple canon answer for this that they simply haven't revealed yet. Looking back through the Clone Wars series seems to provide us with some clues as to what that answer will be. The Mortis arc is a good place to start looking considering its very spiritual nature. Anakin is summoned to the strange realm of Mortis where he meets the Force wielders, the Father, the Son, and the Daughter. The Son is like the embodiment of the dark side, the Daughter embodies the light, and the Father is meant to keep the balance between the two. In his old age, the Father fears he can no longer keep the peace, and he thinks Anakin is powerful enough to replace him. Over the course of the arc, all three Force wielders perish. All of their bodies remain after death, except the Father's. By Lucasfilm's own admission, it is completely intentional that the Father is the only one of the three that vanishes upon his death, as Obi-Wan and Yoda do. Now let's jump forward 3 seasons to the final arc of the series where Yoda actually begins his training to become one with the Force. He meets the Force Priestesses who reveal that only a practitioner of the light side of the Force can learn the power. The 5 priestesses embodied serenity, joy, anger, confusion, and sadness. Yoda has an encounter with the Serene Priestess where she pulls off her mask to reveal empty robes, and again, Lucasfilm has said that was meant to directly relate to the way Obi-Wan's body disappears in A New Hope. Now to be fair, all of the Force Priestesses disappear in a similar manner, but most of Yoda's interactions are with the Serene Priestess, and Dave Filoni has said that all 5 embodiments are meant to basically be segmented personalities of the same being. I'll get back to what I think that means in a second. So what do the Father and the Serene Priestess have in common? I would say the answer is balance. The Father was meant to bring balance to the Son and the Daughter. The Serene Priestess is literally shown as the middle ground of all the Force Priestesses. Assuming all 5 priestesses were part of the same being, Serenity looks like she was in charge. The most balanced and peaceful emotion of the 5 was giving Yoda instructions. So I think what Lucasfilm is building towards isn't so much being fully devoted to the light side, but finding more balance and peace through the Force. I've talked about this before, but Yoda admits that by the time of the Clone Wars, the Jedi Order had lost their way. They were meant to be guardians of peace, yet they were leading a war. So all the Jedi we see die during Order 66, for example, wouldn't have disappeared. They certainly weren't role models of peace, as Barriss Offee correctly pointed out. The ongoing canon has continued with this more balanced philosophy. Kanan is currently learning under the Bendu, who literally describes himself as being the one in the middle, and he's been all about teaching Kanan balance. Now let's look at some real-world influences. The Jedi philosophy is heavily based in Buddhism and specifically Zen. The goal of both is to achieve enlightenment or nirvana or satori depending on what you want to call it. They're seeking to find perfect peace and happiness within themselves. Everyone has the potential to reach that emotional state, and there is no one correct way to do so. What I'm taking from that is, first and foremost, that a dark side practitioner can't reach true peace because they require negative emotions like anger and hatred to fuel their power. Second, the training might not be required to reach the Star Wars version of nirvana. It probably just makes it easier having someone literally explain the goal to you. So I don't think Obi-Wan went through the same experiences as Yoda. He probably never or rarely left Tatooine. So finally, let's talk about Anakin. Since his discovery, he was described as the chosen one that would bring balance to the Force. While that's left up to interpretation, I think there are multiple arguments that could be made saying he did in fact fulfill the prophecy. But on a more personal level, I believe he was at peace when he died. He may have spent half his life as a Sith Lord, but his final act of redemption could have been exactly the thing he needed to reach peace and acceptance before his death. Now, in my opinion, that means his Force Ghost should have appeared as his older self and not Hayden Christensen, but that's a discussion and a debate for another time. Like I said, I do think we will get an official answer on this, and I'm betting we might get it from Ahsoka. Dave Filoni has said her story is not over, and the post-Clone Wars content that's come out surrounding her has painted her as a very balanced Force user. Not a Jedi, but still a light side practitioner. I could see any content about her that takes place after the Rebels Season 2 finale giving us some solid canon answers about this mystery. What do you guys think of all this? Am I onto something, or do you think training from the Force Priestesses is a requirement to become a Force Ghost? Why do you think Anakin became a Force Ghost in the end? Let me know in the comments. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and consider checking out my Patreon page. As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.